Welcome to another deep dive with us. We're going to be doing something kind of different this time.
Yeah.
We're going to be taking a look at some code.
That was fun.
Yeah, and specifically, this is going to be some code that was written in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So we've got a couple of PDFs here. They're called 1.pdf and M8AX, Carpeto Opus ND.pdf.
M8AX.
Yeah.
What is that?
That appears to be the kind of the brand or the name that the coder uses.
Okay.
It looks like Marcos Ochoa Diz.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's some pretty dense code, but going through it, it's really fascinating because what he's basically trying to do is figure out how to most efficiently convert video and audio files.
Yeah.
And really kind of like the underlying mission here is how much physical space does your digital life take up?
Wow.
Right? Like if all of the data on your phone or your computer were printed out, how much space would it actually
Oh
take?
gosh, I didn't want to think about that.
Yeah, right. So
That's a lot.
yeah, and he does these calculations in the code, which we can get to. But
Yeah.
so the first program that we're looking at, it focuses on converting video files to MP4.
Okay.
And he uses the AV1 codec, which is becoming more and more popular now for video encoding because it's very, very efficient at compressing video without sacrificing noticeable quality.
Yeah, because I mean, we've all seen those videos that are like, super compressed and it's all pixelated,
Yeah.
blocky.
Nobody wants that.
Right, and this is all targeted towards making videos viewable on mobile devices and TVs.
So it's like optimized for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then for the audio, he uses Opus encoding, which
Another great codec. Yeah, OPUS is fantastic. I feel like it's really becoming kind of the standard now, especially for streaming and things like that.
right.
Because you can get a really high quality audio at really low bitrate, so it really saves you on file size and bandwidth and things like that. Yeah, and I mean it makes sense because if you think about like trying to stream a 4K video or
Yeah.
even a 1080p video over a
It eats up your data.
cellular connection,
Yeah.
if it weren't compressed, it would be impossible.
Yeah, and it would take forever to, buffer and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is this is making it possible for us to stream video.
Yeah.
So then one of the things that is I thought was really interesting that he does is he has an option to add dynamic audio panning
Oh, cool.
to the videos, and you can customize the frequency of the panning, and there's even an option to add an echo effect to it.
So is that like when the audio will like pan from left to right?
Yeah, like if a car is going by in the video,
Got
the
it.
audio will pan from one side to the other.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, and you can adjust like how fast it pans and the depth of the echo.
That's cool. So it's like bringing that extra level of immersion to the video.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then he also has this thing where he adds metadata to the videos and includes a QR code
Oh, wow.
that can display a custom logo that's fetched from a URL.
So you can like scan that QR code and it'll take you somewhere.
Right, yeah, it could be a website or
That's really clever.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's like a secret message encoded into the video.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like looking at the way that this is all done,
Yeah.
he's not just writing efficient code, he's kind of weaving his personality into it.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, like he's got this really specific way of formatting dates.
Uh-huh.
Instead of just like Monday, he'll use lunecito,
What is that?
which is like little Monday.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah, in Spanish.
I like that.
And he's got this other thing where he's got this mathematical function that factorizes a large random number and then stores the results in the metadata.
Why would he do that?
I have no idea. It seems like just kind of like
Just for fun.
a little quirk.
Yeah.
But I was looking up like what factorization actually means.
Well,
It's basically like taking a number and breaking it down into all the prime numbers that multiply
okay.
together to make that number.
That makes sense.
And it's actually a really complex problem to solve, especially when the numbers get really big.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So it's kind of interesting that he's
So it's like a little puzzle
just like a little
embedded in the.
embedded in there.
I like that.
And then he's got all these like philosophical quotes
Oh, really?
and personal messages that he embeds in the metadata as well.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it's like you're watching a video and then you dig into the metadata and it's like this whole other
Like little Easter eggs.
Easter egg
I
hunt.
love it.
Yeah. So that's the video conversion program. It's a lot packed in there.
Yeah, it's pretty packed, but then he also has this separate program that he uses to compress music files
Okay.
into the OPUS format.
And this one can handle a whole bunch of different audio formats like MP3, WAV, FLAC.
It's kind of like a universal translator
Yeah.
for your music.
For your music collection.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things is it preserves the original folder structure when it's doing the conversion, so you don't have to worry about like everything getting jumbled up.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah, it's like if you've got your music collection organized just the way you like it, it's not going to mess with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it uses multi-core processing to speed up the conversion.
Multi-core processing, so like you can do multiple files at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So if you've got, a huge music collection,
Right.
it's not going to take days to convert everything.
Yeah. I've definitely had programs that take like days to do that.
Yeah, so he's really thinking about the user experience here.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But so like we talked about OPUS being really efficient for like file size and quality, but then on top of that, he's got all of these other like audio manipulation options built into the program.
Oh, cool. Like what?
So you can convert to mono or stereo. You can adjust the sample rate.
Okay.
You can normalize the volume, add echo.
Nice.
You can boost the bass or the treble. You can even change the playback speed, like slow it down or speed it up.
Slow down audio. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
What would you use that for?
I don't know, like maybe if you're trying to like analyze a piece of music or something.
Yeah, true.
Or just for fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are some creative uses for that.
Oh yeah.
And then there's an option to reverse the audio.
Reverse the audio.
Yeah.
What on earth?
I don't know. I guess like if you're looking for like secret messages in songs or something.
Okay, maybe.
But yeah, I mean it's got a lot of features.
That's a lot of options.
Yeah, and then on top of all that, he's also got this thing where he can generate visualizations based on the audio.
Visualizations?
Yeah.
Like what kind?
So he can create spectrograms.
Okay.
Which is like a visual representation of the different frequencies present in the music.
I've seen those before.
Yeah, and he can also generate waveforms, which is like a graphical representation of the audio signal. And then he can actually even create videos with animated waveforms that are synced to the music.
Oh, wow.
And he uses the H.265 codec, which is like
another good one.
Yeah, another really efficient codec.
Yeah.
So it's like you're turning your music into a little light show, basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's making me think of like, back in the day when people would have like the visualizers on their computers.
Yeah.
While they were listening to music.
But this is like next level.
Yeah, this is like really taking it to the next level.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then of course, just like with the video conversion program, he also allows you to embed metadata and a QR code into the audio files.
And you can even use the QR code as the album art, and it can include a custom image from a URL.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so it's like you scan the album cover and it takes you to like the artist's website or I don't know, like their social media or something.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
So, I mean, it's really interesting to me, like all the stuff that he's packed into these programs.
That's a lot.
But I think like the thing that we need to come back to is this whole concept of like how much physical space does this digital information actually take up?
Right. Because we've been talking about compressing it.
Yeah.
But what happens if you uncompress it all?
Yeah, like what if we actually had to like print out all of the ones and zeros?
Oh God.
On pieces of paper.
I don't even want to think about it.
Like how much space would that actually take up?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to get into next.
Okay. I'm ready for it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's take a break and we'll come back to that.
All right. So are we ready to talk about how much space all of this would take up?
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about like, compressing all these video and audio files.
Right.
But like, what if we didn't compress it? What if it was just raw data?
Yeah.
How much space would that take up?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting because he actually includes some calculations in the code.
Okay.
Showing like, if you were to represent all of this data as text,
right?
How much physical space would it occupy?
Okay.
And the numbers are kind of mind-blowing.
So like my music library is going to be like bursting out of my apartment?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more than you would think.
Yeah.
We're so used to having these compression algorithms like OPUS and all that,
right,
that, let us fit thousands of songs on a tiny little device.
Yeah, it's like magic.
It is kind of like magic, yeah.
But it's easy to forget that all that data is still there.
Exactly.
It's just been like shrunk down.
Yeah, it's like we folded it up really, really small. But if you were to unfold it all, it would be enormous.
So where does it all go then?
Well, it goes into data centers.
Data centers.
Yeah, these massive buildings filled with servers.
Okay.
And they're all over the world.
So like my digital footprint isn't just like this abstract thing. It's actually taking up physical space somewhere.
Exactly. It's taking up space. It's using energy.
So there are like real world costs associated with our digital lives.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, think about the energy that it takes to power all those servers.
Yeah.
And to keep them cool.
And like all the materials that go into building those data centers.
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge industry.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It is. It really makes you think about like, the impact that we're having.
Yeah.
Just by, sending emails and watching videos and all that.
Yeah, it's not just happening in the digital world, it's affecting the physical world too.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Well, speaking of the digital world, we were looking at this audio conversion program earlier, and it had all these like really cool features, like being able to reverse audio and things like that.
Yeah.
But there was one that we didn't talk about, which is the 3D audio conversion.
Oh yeah, DD audio.
Yeah, what is that all about?
It's really cool. It's basically a way of manipulating the stereo field to create a more immersive listening experience.
So it's like surround sound for your headphones.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of like binaural beats?
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to that, where it's like playing with how we perceive sound.
Okay.
So it'll make the music sound like it's swirling all around you.
That's cool. Is that like a new technology?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, the techniques have been around for a long time.
Okay.
But what's new is that it's become a lot more accessible.
I see.
So now anyone can create these 8D audio tracks.
And so how does this guy do it?
Well, he gives you the option to add an echo effect.
Okay.
Which kind of enhances that feeling of spaciousness.
It's all about the details. It's funny, we're talking about all this technical stuff, but like I keep thinking about how we're getting to know this programmer through his code.
That's true.
Like it's not just lines of code, it's like a glimpse into his personality.
Yeah, I mean, code can be very expressive.
Right.
It's like, you can see how someone thinks.
Yeah, and his sense of humor. Like, remember those date formats?
Oh yeah, lunacy.
Yeah.
Little Monday.
It's like he's giving the days a little hug.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so charming.
It's like he's having fun with it.
Yeah, and it makes me want to have fun with it too.
Yeah.
Like it makes coding seem less intimidating.
Definitely.
And speaking of less intimidating, like I noticed that he's really good at handling errors. Like he doesn't just give you a generic error message.
Right.
He actually like provides guidance.
Yeah.
And often with like a touch of humor.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. It's like he's anticipating the user's frustration.
Yeah.
And he's right there to help.
You got your back.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So it's like he's not just writing code for computers, he's writing code for people.
Right. He's thinking about the user experience.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
And it makes me think about this whole idea of digital responsibility.
Okay.
Like he's not just giving us these tools.
Yeah.
He's also making us think about how we use them.
That's a good point.
So how do we navigate this digital landscape responsibly?
Well, that's a big question.
Yeah.
And I think it's one that we need to explore a bit further.
Okay, so let's take a deeper dive into that. All right, so we've been talking about this programmer M8AX and all of his amazing code and his quirky personality.
Yeah, it's been a fun deep dive.
It has, but I think like the biggest thing that we need to talk about is this whole idea of digital responsibility.
Digital responsibility, exactly.
It's like he's not just giving us these tools to compress our files and make them more efficient.
Right.
He's also making us think about like the consequences of all of this data that we're creating.
Right, and how much space it actually takes up. Yeah.
Yeah, like those data centers that we were talking about.
Yeah, those are massive.
They're huge and they're consuming all this energy.
Yeah, and they're just going to keep getting bigger.
Right, like as we create more and more data.
Exactly.
So what do we do about it?
Well, I don't think the answer is for all of us to go live in the woods and, disconnect from the grid.
Right.
But I do think that we need to be more conscious of our digital habits.
Okay, so like what kind of things can we do?
Well, for starters, think about the data that you're creating.
Okay.
Like, do you really need to take 100 photos of your lunch?
Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe just one or two will do.
Yeah.
And when was the last time you cleaned out your email inbox?
Oh gosh. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. But deleting those unnecessary emails can actually free up space on a server somewhere.
Wow. So like just deleting an email can make a difference?
It can make a small difference, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about the services that you're using. Like, do you really need accounts on every social media platform?
Probably not.
Could you consolidate your cloud storage services?
Yeah, I've got like 5 different cloud storage things going on.
Right, and you're probably only using like 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
So streamlining your digital life can actually reduce your footprint.
Okay, so it's like being more intentional about
Exactly.
what we're doing online.
Yeah, be more mindful.
Yeah.
And I think it's also about supporting companies that are making an effort to be more sustainable.
Okay.
Like some tech companies are investing in renewable energy sources for their data centers.
Oh, that's good.
So, voting with your dollars
Yeah.
can make a difference.
So there are like actual things that we can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just like a hopeless situation.
No, not at all.
That's good to know.
Yeah. And, it's not just about reducing our environmental impact.
Okay.
It's also about like reclaiming control of our time and attention.
That's a good point.
Like, do we really want to spend hours scrolling through social media?
Probably not.
Or watching mindless videos?
No.
Could we use that time to connect with loved ones?
Yeah.
Learn a new skill?
Or just like go outside.
Yeah, go outside, enjoy the real world.
Yeah.
So it's about making conscious choices.
Conscious choices, yeah.
About how we spend our time and energy,
I like that.
both online and offline.
Yeah, and I think that's where M8AX's work really resonates.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he's not just a programmer, he's like a digital philosopher.
He's making us think.
Making us think about our relationship with technology.
Yeah, it's not just about the tools themselves.
Right.
It's about how we use them.
It's like he's giving us this message in a Trojan horse.
I like that analogy.
Like all these amazing features, and then it's like, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Think about this.
Sneaking in the message.
Yeah.
Which is clever.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Like he's not preaching at us.
Right.
He's just like, hey, let's play with this,
Yeah.
but also let's be responsible.
Let's use it wisely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a big takeaway from this deep dive.
Yeah, I agree.
Our digital lives have a physical presence, and our actions matter.
Absolutely.
So let's be mindful.
It's be conscious.
Let's make good choices.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.